All right, everybody, we are live. How's everybody doing out there today on this beautiful Friday morning? It's a little windy, but other than that, the sun is shining. The air is brisk. Get out there, go for a walk, try and get some fresh air. So, thanks for tuning in to Talk is Cheap. We're back to our Friday schedule, Friday mornings. And today we're talking with the executive director for the Jonnycake Center, Lee Eastbourne. He's been doing a great job over there, especially during the COVID-19 pandemic, what has been going on. Now, if you don't know, the Jonnycake Center is a huge community service here in the Westerly, Rhode Island area. They do a great job down there at the Jonnycake Center. You may be familiar with their Restore. I'm sure we've all bought things in their store. It's a great service they provide for the community. They do much more than that, and we're going to get into all that with Lee when he does come on. I do want to talk about a few things first. Basically, the premise of the show, talk is cheap. Basically, talk is cheap. So we're talking with people in the community who are taking action during the COVID-19 pandemic, because actions, that's the way things get done. We can sit here and we can talk about it till we're blue in the face, but nothing really happens until we take actions. We've had guests, Dr. Mark Garceau, superintendent of the Westerly School Department, Dr. Mayorga, chief medical officer for the Westerly Hospital. We had Lisa Kanicki on Monday, president of the Ocean Community Chamber here in Westerly. And of course, today we have Lee Eastbourne. So, Ben, do we have Lee waiting to come on the show? Hey, there he is. How you doing, Lee?
Hi, good morning, Shane. I'm very well, thank you. Yourself?
Fantastic. I can't complain. It's a nice day out there, and
beautiful. Yes, really looks nice.
Just trying to get through this as efficiently as possible, like everyone else is trying to do.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, Lee, you are the executive director over at the Jonnycake Center. Why don't you tell our viewers, for those who don't know what the Jonnycake Center does, what's one of your main roles in the community?
Yeah, absolutely. So we're based in Westerly. We are a non-profit social service organisation that serves low and moderate income clients in the Westerly and Chariho region. We have four major arms to our organisation. Most people will know us for either our on-site thrift store or maybe our food pantry. But we do have a full-scale social services office as well on site. And we are also in collaboration with Lisa and the folks at the Chamber of Commerce and the Education Exchange. We do also participate in the statewide Real Jobs Initiative, which is the Westerly Regional Real Jobs Partnership, which is really aimed at putting individuals back to either permanent full-time or part-time work, or additionally allowing them to continue on to further education and then becoming, another member of the working world down the line. We very simply, we help people in need.
No, that's great. And your service, especially during this time, I'm sure everyone is requesting your services. So how has this pandemic changed the model as far as, like, say, with the food pantry? Is that still open? How are we still navigating this?
It is, yes. We are still open as an organisation. We are considered an essential organisation by the state of Rhode Island. So generally, we don't expect to see a mandate to close us as a centre. So we are operating 5 days a week at this point. Both our social service office and our food pantry are operating Mondays from 12 to 3 p.m. and Tuesdays through Fridays from 9 a.m. to noon.
Is it by appointment?
It's not by appointment, but the building is effectively on a very just about a complete shutdown at this point. So a lot of our social service offerings are done either over the telephone or email communication at this point. And for those that don't know, our regular model of food assistance at the centre is what we call full client choice. So generally, we will have individuals that will come to the centre for assistance. They will come into the food pantry, and effectively, it's a mini grocery store. Our clients will actually shop for themselves. It's the right way to do things. It's a very much more dignified way of doing things. However, at this point, because of obvious reasons, we are pre-bagging all of those items for individuals. A couple of questions, a little bit of interaction with clients when they arrive at the centre, but everything is at this point delivered out of the building to the waiting individual at the back of the centre for now.
You used a couple terms there, and it has to do with your success as an organization. You call the individuals clients, which I think is great, and you said they can do their own shopping too, so it can be more dignified. At any point in our lives as adults, we've all needed a helping hand, but most of us have that family or friend who can help out. So what you're doing is absolutely fantastic, and creating that safe area for people to reach out for help, I think, is great.
Yeah, we there is no judgment. Exactly as you said, Shane. If you haven't gone through a part of your life, your adult life, without a worry or a concern about where the next rental paycheck is, the rental check is coming from, or how you're going to put food on the table for your family, you are part of a very, very small minority of people that have never had a financial worry. So there's no judgment, there's no shame associated with coming to the center. And I'm on the radio once every couple of weeks in town, and that's a message that we continue to spread, is that everything is done confidentially on the social services and food assistance side of things. So if people do have a worry about having sort of any shame or embarrassment about visiting us at the center, we absolutely implore them to do so, because there's none of that happening there.
Oh, that's fantastic. Now, the Restore, that's what it's called, right? The
The
Restore, or
thrift store.
thrift store.
Yes.
Now, is that still open or is it closed?
We had been closed fully for about 5 weeks. Just a couple of days ago, at the beginning of this week, we have opened up some contactless personal shopping and also some contactless donations that will just help us drive a little bit of revenue into the center. For those that maybe don't know the financial breakdown of the organization, the thrift store is responsible for over 50% of the center's annual operating revenue, and
Oh, wow.
this fiscal year was scheduled to do about $800,000. So it's a huge financial part of our organization, the big financial driver to the center.
And all that money goes back into the Jonnycake Center, I would imagine, to help
It
run it.
does. Yeah, every cent over expenses goes right back into the center to support our social service and food assistance programs. Yes. So being closed for about 5 weeks has been about an $80,000 hit to the center. So we're looking at creative and innovative ways to try and bring some additional revenue in to keep people working. We want to avoid as many possible layoffs or furloughs or reducing of hours as physically possible. That's our aim as we stand at the moment.
Well, it's unfortunate the store is closed, but again, getting creative. We all have to get creative right now, and especially with the way we're communicating now with this format. I'm sure there's a lot of ways you thought of that you're getting in the works that you're going to start getting more
as you
people.
can probably see from behind me, I'm in a kind of guest bedroom / office, so I'm actually working from home today. We have 2 young children. My wife works full time as well, so balancing work and work life for us both and personal life has been a real challenge. But it's been great to see people over video call for sure.
Now, what are the biggest requests that you're getting from your clients right now through the Jonnycake Center?
Regular food assistance, we continue to see that is something that is always ongoing. One thing we have seen a little spiking is requests for food for children. So we generally, as an organization, have 2 child-centered food assistance programs. One is what we call the Splash program, which really covers children when they're out of school. So those generally kids that are receiving either free or reduced lunches during the school periods. When they're on vacation, those meals obviously go away. So we jump in as an organization and provide a week's worth of food every single week for every child in the household, not just the student. So that has obviously been implemented and has been ramped up. And as an extension of that program, about 2 years ago, we introduced a weekend power pack program, which is very much the same premise that, a child may be having lunch at school on a Friday afternoon, and that may be the final full nutritious meal until Monday morning breakfast when they're back at school the next week. So the Weekend Power Pack program bridges that Friday lunch to Monday morning breakfast span of time. So we distribute food assistance over the weekend to the same population, same amount of children. So those two programs on the food assistance side are extremely important at this point. On the social services side and financial assistance side, we're starting to see requests mainly for help with either a month's rent or a rental payment, or a mortgage payment. Housing is what we're seeing most at this point.
Also, the Jonnycake Center can help out with those areas as well, living
Yeah,
expenses.
yeah, absolutely. We help out. We provide about $120,000 of financial assistance to clients in our service area every year, for what we consider necessities. So housing, winter heating oil, utilities, medical needs, education, those types of things. And dependent on time of year, the breakdown of those funds differ. So in the winter, we generally see more requests for winter heating oil for obvious reasons. Utilities, if people have electric heat in their house. In the summer, when we get to the nicer weather, kind of in the springtime as well, when the temperatures start to rise, people aren't using as much oil, they're not using their electric heat. So the requests for different type of necessities change a little bit. But at this point, housing is the main thing.
Right. And we've kind of been kind of lucky with at the time of year that this pandemic did happen. So
Yes.
there's not a huge request for heating oil assistance, I would imagine, right now.
Right. Yeah, we're seeing, as you come out of the winter months into kind of right around this time, April, May time, as the temperatures start to rise, we see a shift from utilities and heating oil more into a little bit more medical, housing, and some education as well.
So now with the education factor, which you just brought up, have those programs been postponed until the center opens back up?
It has, yes. There have been some programs in other parts of the state that have been able to do some remote learning, but it just hasn't worked out, unfortunately, for us that we've been able to do that. So we did actually have a session planned to start this week, as it would happen, but that unfortunately has been postponed for now, and we're hoping, once we all come out of this crisis on the other end of things, that we'll be able to get that back in place as soon as possible. Because, for individuals that we can help get back to work, Westerly is such a seasonal town, as we all know, but the key for that program is to provide permanent year-round work, whether it is a part-time position to supplement maybe a job that an individual has at this point, or a full-time position that comes with benefits and retirement and all of the other the great things that come with a full-time health insurance. That helps an individual to break the cycle of dependency that they may have on an organization like the Jonnycake Center of Westerly. So it's a real critical part of the organization.
Right. So it's the education factor, finding them a job through the whole process. So like you said, they can get that good full-time job with the benefits that we've all come to expect. So they can, like you said, slowly decrease their dependence on the Jonnycake Center. That's a great thing. So I hope that gets started back up again. But you may have a new program you could add to the whole course catalog of live streaming.
Yeah, definitely. It's the program in Westerly is kind of quite broad. It's very much based on soft skills, kind of interviewing techniques, resume writing, conflict resolution. But a large part of that also is digital literacy. A lot of use of the internet and the Microsoft Office product suite there to allow them to bring them up. To give you a very good example, the very first session of Real Jobs back in 2016, we had an individual, and I'm sure she won't mind me mentioning her name. So Adrienne Hall is one of our two volunteer coordinators at the center. And Adrienne had a couple of children and stepped out of the workplace to raise her kids. And when they went when they moved to college, she decided it was time to move back into the working world. She took our very first session of Real Jobs, graduated, and has been an employee at the Jonnycake Center since late 2016. So it's a real success story.
That's a great
really
success
wonderful
story.
Yeah.
I'm sure you have
and there's
a lot of those
many
too.
more of them.
Right.
Yes, absolutely.
Well, I'll tell you, when all this is over, if you're if you need some help as an instructor, I'll say it right here on my show. I'll volunteer my time, teach some computer skills. I'll definitely help you out.
I've definitely learned a lot of live streaming information since this crisis hit. I've definitely learned a bunch of different tools.
Oh, it's amazing. I tell you, when we started at Westerly Life about a year ago with the live streaming, I knew it was going to get to this point. I just didn't know it was going to happen this fast. There's always like that one moment in history that things kind of get propelled, and we're living through it right now. So things have changed. They changed overnight, literally.
Yes,
Yeah.
very, very quickly.
Yeah. So is there something that you want to tell us about, like donation? How can people help you out if they want to give you some money? What can they do?
Yeah, that would generally be the best avenue for us at this point. As I did mention, we are open for contactless donations through the thrift store. So you can find out about all of that information on our website. That's, I think, scrolling across the bottom of the screen. But on the financial side of things, monetary donations are hugely appreciated and greatly accepted at this point. I made an error when I was on with Ben a couple of weeks ago with the amount of food per pound, and so I will be sure to get it right today. So a $10 donation to the center allows us to buy 100 pounds of food through the Rhode Island Community Food Bank. It really stretches our dollar very, very far. So it's about
That's
a
still
10
really
cent.
good.
Yeah, it's about a
Yeah.
10 cent per pound cost of food, and generally a rough pound of food at a grocery store is about $1.30, $1.40. So it shows you how far a small donation can go. Just because we have a huge buying power at the center, because we spend so much with them on a yearly basis. But donations can come to the center online through our website, and you can actually choose where you would like your donation to go, whether it would be to the food assistance programs, to social services, whether you'd like to donate to general operating. It's very much up to you. We do process our donations through PayPal. You don't need a PayPal account to register and donate. You can pay with donate with a debit or credit card.
Oh, that's excellent. I'm on your website right now, and there's the donate button, which I'm
Yep, right
looking at.
across the top banner there. Yes.
Yep. So it's very easy for people to find, and also in a second spot, all the way down at the bottom of the website, if they can't find that, there's another little PayPal donate button I noticed. So
There is.
very, very easy. And I also see you're big on social media. Is that the main communication tool to keep in touch with everybody?
It depends on what part of the organization, because we do have a number of different areas. So the client side of things, a lot of that is word of mouth, because we are serving a population that may not have access to high-speed internet or a smartphone or a laptop, for example. So that is very much word of mouth. We do some advertising online, digitally. But social media, especially for the thrift store side of things, with daily sales that we have, and we generally do a nightly post every evening to highlight some of the unique items that come into the center. That is very much social media driven. Yes.
Yeah, I've seen those come through on my feed, and
Yeah.
I've bought numerous items at the thrift store. I love it. Like I just moved, this about a year ago. I just moved to a new apartment, and I needed a new night table. And I'm like, let's see what the Jonnycake has. A solid wood night table, oak, great shape. I think I got it for $15. I couldn't believe it.
Wow.
It was perfect. Yeah, so still in my apartment.
It's a lot of people know about the center, and especially the thrift store, but for a lot of people also, it's an unknown gem in town. We try and keep our costs, our pricing as low as we possibly can. Because we want to allow the items in the store to reach as many people as we can in the community. So, those that may not have a lot of money available to purchase furniture or homewares or clothes or shoes, whatever it may be, we try and keep our costs as low as we possibly can, but that will allow us to meet our revenue goals. So most items in the center are kind of $3 and $4 and below. Gently used items, and what a lot of people don't know is we have a bunch of new items as well that maybe somebody purchased and they decided it wasn't right for them, or it was a gift that they wasn't right for them, and they've donated it. So a lot of new and a lot of gently used items at the center, really for any part of the home, clothing, anything you can think of, we likely have on site at the center.
Well, one thing that I did notice is your kitchen supply section is huge. So, like, say you have you're 22, you just finished college, you're getting your first apartment. Go to the Jonnycake Center thrift store. You can get forks, knives, plates, bowls, everything you need for your kitchen.
Yep,
at a great
probably
price.
$10-15 you could outfit your whole kitchen with pans and cookware and
Exactly.
things like
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
high quality items, I do have to say. It's not Oh, I had a
Are you
little
there?
break on my phone. Yeah, I'm here.
Oh,
I had a
I'm
little
so.
break on my phone there. That's technology for you. It is what it is. Cool. Well, Lee, I know you're a busy guy. You have a lot going on. You're trying to navigate this COVID-19 like the rest of us. And thank you for all that you do. Is there anything else you'd like to tell our viewers before we do sign off?
No, please just keep an eye on us. We are very active on social media. I'd also like to give a shout out to the other non-profit organisations that are in our service area that are doing exactly the same thing. We couldn't do this without constant collaboration. So, the Warm Centre here in town, the Pawcatuck Neighbourhood Centre in Pawcatuck, Wood River Health, the school departments, everyone is coming together. The Chamber of Commerce. I had a little time to meet with Lisa yesterday. Everyone is pulling together to help business, to help individuals, really kind of tackle this pandemic together. And we couldn't do it without the collaboration of all those other organisations. So, and a huge shout out to our staff and volunteers that are just going above and beyond at this point, pulling crazy hours and crazy times of work, and just doing everything they possibly can to help those individuals in need. It really is. It really, from my end, doesn't go unnoticed.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. It's always times like these where we see the true good in humanity come out. Everyone's coming
Yes.
together, and we're going to get through this. So, Lee, thank you very much. Enjoy
Thank
the
you.
rest of the day and the weekend, and good luck and stay safe.
Thank you. Likewise.
All right. Well, there you have it. Lee Eastbourne, Executive Director over at the Jonnycake Center in Westerly, doing an amazing job out there, helping people out. As we said in the interview, in our adult lives, we've all needed a helping hand. If you haven't, then you're in that minority. I'm extremely happy for you. But most of us have friends and family who we can reach out to help us through those tough times. Some people do not have that luxury. The Jonnycake Center, and as Lee said, the other organizations in the area, the Pawcatuck Neighborhood Center, the Warm Center, uh, all doing great jobs to help out the locals living in the area who are affected by the COVID-19 pandemic right now, and just in general, everything that they do down there at the Jonnycake Center. Well, thanks for tuning in to Talk is Cheap. Every Friday morning between 10 and noon. It's all dependent on our guest time schedule because we're all, the people who we're talking to, of course, are taking action. So they're busy people. So we do have to kind of fit into their schedule. But with live streaming, it's not that big of a deal. We can just go live and you get noticed. So I'm going to end this. I have a long day ahead of me. We have a press conference at 3 o'clock today coming to you from the town hall. We will be streaming that on Westerly Life right on this station right here. So that's going to happen at 3 p.m. It is the weekly local press conference. Gina Raimondo, the governor, will be going live at 1 p.m. today. And if there's any new information, I will go live with the news as an update later on, but probably not today because the local press conference usually covers everything that needs to be covered. So on that note, I'm Shane B. for Talk is Cheap and Westerly Life, reminding you to enjoy your Westerly life.